Hello, everybody. What's going on? It is the Game Cave Development Blog, and I have my iced coffee because it's freaking hot outside. We are going to talk about making Game Cave, the never-ending struggle in which I continue to make this thing that just never gets done. Joining me in that struggle here tonight is Jam Artsy, Jessica James. So, say hello.
Hello.
Do you feel like this never ends? This is just our life now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's your life.
Story.
Right? I'm sorry I did this to you. I swear I'm trying to end this. So, we're going to talk a little bit about some modeling, some layouts, some goodies for you backers out there. We're going to get some nifty stuff. And then the plan moving forward. It's been a wild time. Jessica, let's start off really quickly. You have been working on the Briar Bay model, right?
Yes.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and bring up TeamViewer, so we're going to be looking at your computer now. Go ahead and move over here to desktop. Alright, so what are we looking at?
Alright, so we worked on building placements, right? And then we have some levels going on as well. So here's kind of some placements. I don't know if we're going to rethink about the land that the buildings are on. But here's like a view.
I'm considering adding some stone fixtures that we could maybe put in there for now, but I don't know yet, so don't worry too much about that.
Yeah.
Alright, and so you put an arch bridge in the back there?
Yeah, so that was connecting like two buildings. Trying to play around. Oops. Get this way.
That's an interesting idea. Why don't we flip that? Let me see. Flip that back around, or let me see if I can do it. One second. So, all right. So I like that idea, but why don't we? Have to think about that because I want to create some kind of. Is there a way to take that arch and make it as a basis for the bridge that's right there?
Yeah, that was part of the arch where it just didn't flow right. Those are one of the arches I would have to fix, but we can do that.
Let me see. Oh, I see what you're talking about. It's kind of probably neither here nor there. What? Let me think about that. Because there's just some design stuff right there with some thicknesses and things like that we can do. It's interesting placement with that. I would probably, yeah, so this, right, see how it just takes up these pieces here? Right here it just kind of like creates a big wall right there.
Gotcha.
So I want that middle section on that one, not there.
Okay.
And then with this thing here, we should put something more in the center.
Okay.
Do you have a smaller, like a smaller?
How much smaller?
Well, I wonder if this middle piece here, this thing, would work fine here if it were like angled, right? So it's, see, because what I'm trying to think about is, see how all these walls here, these walls, these floors, they're all angling toward the center. So trying to continue that idea through, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
so this piece, if we angle, take this one off here, this middle piece, take this thing, move it up here, and then angle it back that way, and maybe, yeah, maybe this roof. We'll just see what that looks like. So just replace that right there. Alrighty, and then that's there because of move this wall out of the way so I can't see that. Turn that off.
Pumpkin.
That's on stilts of some sort.
Yeah. Again, I was just playing around with buildings.
Right. Yeah. Don't worry about the stilts part. That's because I don't want that. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, just omit that. Just put a normal building there, so they're all ground floor. And then you can take this one off. This one can go away.
Okay.
This can go away, and this should just come down and be concrete or whatever, stone. Like, I don't want people walking on roofs. It's gonna look a little odd. So, yeah, and that's fine for that. So, this one right here, put the pumpkin back on. So these two, take these off for now because we're gonna build like a castle entrance right here within this area.
Okay.
So we can take those off. All right, and so the only thing I could say is we're gonna have to develop the castle part next, so I can figure out what, if anything, needs to go in the center part, right? So like I'm thinking like these, a couple of those. It needs to mirror whatever's here, kind of like flows through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Up into the castles part in this section. Now you sent me some renders. So folks, I asked her to render some screens of these out so I can draw, because we kind of have a problem. I feel this base, so what's supposed to be in here is a castle that goes vertically up and extends out like a chandelier and comes through the top of the pumpkin. This cave structure. The problem is that base doesn't look like it's big enough. But it might actually work if it branches out in certain ways and then it looks a little bottom light. It might look cooler too, you know, instead of being really big. If it was thinner on the top and then sprawled out a little bit, it might look cool. So I have to work that out. I was trying to do that this weekend, but Rob forgot it was 4th of July. So I got behind on a lot of stuff. So initially I thought the city would wrap around, but what we're going to do is keep the castle sections for all back here. So I got time to figure that out. Turn all these things off back here. All these.
Okay.
Those need to all come off because they're not going to matter much right now. You can just hide them or something. Don't delete them.
Okay.
And then while I'm doing that, what I want you to do is start modeling Game Cave based off that sketch that I sent you.
Okay.
All right. So if you have some pieces, great. If you got to do some modeling, but because we need to put that actual Game Cave model into here.
Okay.
And because I want a Game Cave to be, and Game Cave might have to come out. It might have to come out right here. This idea of, see how you had like this, so they have this arch coming between two buildings. Some of that might work if we made a few vertical, like if it, as it got back, it kind of got a little more vertical with some of these buildings, and there was like an arch. It might, I don't know, I'm thinking something. But I know I want Game Cave right here. It's just like once you put a building there, like there's no space for, you know what I mean? I'm thinking about the base, like,
yeah.
How does that work out? Other than that, maybe the castle part, like you would walk around Game Cave to come into the castle, right? And it's like at the front entrance, you know, or it's like right in. So there might be some trickery do stuff going on there. I gotta sketch all that out. It's not gonna be pleasant. So what I'm trying to do, folks, is avoid her having to do any more work on layouts in this thing, or modeling anything or moving everything around. So one way to do that is just to change the design, you know, so it kind of gets there. So those changes here, and then we gotta start placing more of these chandelier things, but we need to do that after we get the castle put in, so they accentuate. You know what I mean?
Right.
So once you make those building changes I asked for, then go ahead and take whatever's there and duplicate it here.
Okay.
Right? And you know, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking these things up here, let's just get rid of them.
Okay.
Let's not put any
No,
of the
no
buildings up there.
levels.
Yeah, I think we still need to put buildings out here and along here, you know? I think that's more of
Right.
a city, and there's going to be city inside the castle. So the more I think about this stuff up here, it just kind of gets in the way.
Okay.
So you can take, like you can leave this up here. I like this thing,
Okay.
right? Like this. But just this right here and all of this stuff, get rid of that. So, yeah, no point to that right now. And to give people an idea, you have some of those renders available? Can we look at them?
The ones I sent you?
Yeah, just go ahead and if you can bring them up
Okay.
on your computer.
Yeah, give me a second.
Yeah, that castle's gonna be.
So here are some of the.
All right. So let's see. So people can see, like, this is when you actually have some basic global illumination going on here, so you can see. And we had you drop in a basic building to mock where Game Cave would sort of be, but I don't know. So these are some more close. This is with the pumpkin turned off, so you can kind of see around and around. Yeah, I definitely want a lot of the cameras to be out here. So some of these buildings will go out here too, along these rifts and stuff. But we'll do the other stuff first, and then that's cool, right? Look, go into the mouth. Ah, no, 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 no. Nice. So I got to sketch over this stuff and then send them back there. All right. So we showed all that. Anything else with the model?
Let's see. I think that was it.
Bring it back up really quickly. Any thoughts on doing this so far? You want to share people in the process, the pain? Now's the time to complain. So.
I don't know. I mean, it took a lot of patience, and I know it's easy to complain, but then once I get in the groove of starting to build or starting to lay out, I get more excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely getting to see it build up, right?
Right.
The question will be how we can use so people, just to remind people, every one of these buildings is a section. So you see when I select here, it's selecting all these. What it really is she has a bunch of these models off to the side in a toolkit, and these are just referencing those initial models. So it's not actually building a ton of geometry, it's referencing the original geometry, which is a performance gain on your end, right?
Yes.
We call that instancing. So why is it important to instance, Jessica? Why would you say? What's the benefit?
Well, you can easily, copy and duplicate. If you need to change one thing, it changes all of them. And I think it definitely saves on performance.
Yeah, because we built a version of the city with far less geometry, and we were just not enjoying life. So it was really painful. And it's just good sound modeling practice. Now this, I'm concerned about. Like, I have to come in here and sketch how some of this will work. Because like when I think about this, I'm thinking like this particular two set of buildings might not need to be there. Like this might be more park function of some sort. Because like if you think about it when you walk through, like, but I don't know. I've lived in bigger cities. I lived in smaller cities in Europe. So like I'm just trying to figure out what we don't have. I kind of want to move on with life. So like some of this stuff, I'm like, oh, we could do this and that, and other things, I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend too much more time on it. So. Once I paint a bunch of foliage and nonsense over all this stuff, it's pretty much gonna fit. Now these things are supposed to just be these like, I don't know, like maintenance towers and stuff put throughout the piece, but I don't know yet like how that's gonna quite work. It's a way of mirroring some of these chandelier elements from the towers out on the pier inside. So you see. All right, so the big thing to do over the next week or two is to finalize the design of this castle and the placement of the store. So I can already feel the pain behind the eyeball and having to make those decisions. But I will make those decisions so you can move on in life. And hopefully I can do it without a lot of extra modeling. Like what I'm hoping is we can have like a base structure and that we can shove a lot of these kind of buildings into there to create like a pseudo structure, but you might have to model. So I don't know. I don't know yet. I know it's going to look cool, like once you have this central piece and these parts are coming out from the center and it goes up. And then you got the dual towers sticking through the pumpkin. And then we have to continue the buildings throughout here. All the way through here. And then there'll be some up here. And then this back row here will have buildings. And this back row here will have buildings. And maybe like a couple here, a couple here. Just to service these areas, So the idea is that whenever ship stock and things are going, they're not dragging all the shit into the city this way. And here, specifically here in these areas, there are maintenance tunnels going throughout the bridge, so that they're able to drive their stuff straight into, transport the stuff straight into the main castle or anywhere throughout the city. So that's how all this stuff's being distributed. Almost there. And then we can move on with life. So I hope to have this all complete by the end of the month. At the mid-August at the tops, but I'm hoping to have it complete this month. So what did I tell you to do in order?
All right. Well, I'm going to model Game Cave. We're going to fix those buildings.
Fix the buildings first.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so order of easy, right? So fix all the building stuff and then duplicate the buildings over. And with these ones on the inside rim, right? These inside ones in here. Just go ahead and, like I said, get rid of this stuff here, right here, and then whatever's here, go ahead and just duplicate that
to the other side.
To the other side.
Okay.
Yeah. And you might find that you're out of room pretty quickly. Matter of fact, forget all this stuff on the inside. Just take whatever you have here and duplicate it over. Because I got a feeling that this castle piece I'm going to set up here, I'm going to want to extend the castle stuff along there, if at all. Matter of fact, whatever you have, just take whatever you have here and just hide it. So don't delete anything. Just hide it. These things here, all this stuff here, hide that too. Because I want to have room to develop these castle pieces.
Okay.
Because this place called Fort Jacks used to be a military post back a long time ago. So during a Great War, that doesn't matter. But I worked it all out. So yeah, so do all that, then start modeling Game Cave while I work on the castle.
Okay.
All right. If you have free time and I'm not done with the castle, then start laying out the buildings here based on my initial design. Remember the initial one? How I kind of laid them out? Yeah. So we need some city here, and this should be duplicated over here. So you only have to do half, right? So, yeah. So use my original reference for this stuff here.
Okay.
I don't need buildings hanging off this way, I don't think, because I want those briars, you know? So it's just, I think, but we'll see. Don't kill yourself.
Okay.
Matter of fact, once you start throwing some on the inside, let me see it really quick if you get there, because I don't want you spending a lot of time being meticulous if I'm like, I don't know. Make sure you leave room for giant briars.
Okay.
To go over. I got to paint these giant briars that go around here. And we might need you to build some briars, but you can use NURBS, I think, this time. How about that?
Yeah, that'll probably be easier.
Yeah, so we might need to do that. That'll be pretty easy with the briars, I think, right? Versus the polygons. So, all right. And that's that. We've covered 30 minutes. So that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
You got a headache yet?
No, not yet.
She's afraid I'm going to say we got to start all over from scratch. Right? Every week she wonders.
I keep waiting for it.
It's not going to happen. So I want to talk about one other thing really quickly. Let me jump back to the camera. So I've been working diligently on, what's the word I'm thinking of? Production flow. So she's been Jesse, you've been working on visual novel stuff with this, and I've been wondering what the best formula for creating the story content to visual novel to webcomic would be. And so I went out and took the time to make a little bit of everything, and then I came up with a production flow. So I'm going to share that really quickly if I can just get into, here we go, visual novel, project, workflow, June 29th, yeah, so that's the one. I'll open this up here. All right, so this is my Google Drive. This thing called Draw.io lets you do very basic visual layouts. What do you call this? Visio, like Visio, right? Like a super simple version. But what I'm able to do is make production flow schematics fairly quickly and then kind of show. So the idea is that I outline a graphic novel, which I have a very structured process for that. Once I have the outline complete, I share it with you, JMRZ, so you know what you're going to be 3D modeling. Things that are complex that I want to be consistent on. So can I draw a city from scratch with no help? Yes. But if I want to be consistent with execution of that city, exploration, everything else, then I don't want, you need to build a model. So things like that. From that outline, I convert the outline into a functional script, which I already have worked out. And then that script, I start sketching out the comic book portions that I need and color scripting, which is it's where you sketch in color to build the mood of the story. You kind of develop the story through mood colors. So you can see the mood of your story. When you lay it all out, you're able to see, oh, these are happy moments, these are dark moments, these are happy, you can see that. While that's all going on, you're building the 3D models. Once I have the color script done and the 3D models are done, then you can start building an alpha version of the visual novel while I go draw the webcomic. And now this part right here, this whole section of webcomic, from starting the webcomic could take a year to completion, maybe 18 months. And then we do a printed book version. Based on the feedback, we adjust all that info and story through the visual novel and expand the story out, do whatever we're going to do. And then the visual novel, which should take an extra 6 to 12 months to build. I imagine not that long. I'm over projecting. So what's the point of making these visual novels? The point of the visual novels is that I want to actually make Game Cave a place you can go to and explore. Right? And so this is how we can do it. And I just found that I can either start with the visual novel and then convert it to a webcomic, and it doesn't work. And I'll show you guys later why. But using the story and the comic as a basis and then expanding out, it's pretty easy in the visual novel, right? Just because you can use temporary graphics and plug in scenarios. Correct? Jess?
Sorry,
Yeah.
accidentally hit that. Yeah.
All right. So does this make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and in order to get all the art done, I'm gonna change. It's not changing my art style, but I'll be showing you guys the way to get the art done is not to create the world's greatest, most cleanest art. So, but this means that while this is going on, we can. Because one of the problems I had was developing the flowchart for the visual novel. It's weird. It depends on how much choice you want to give people. So, and the thing too, folks, is some people will never fucking read a webcomic. Like, there are just gonna be some people who will never read, no matter what. So, for those people, they'll read a game for some stupid reason. And for the people who won't even do that, what they will do is you can play it and we can stream it on the YouTube or Twitch or whatever, and they can join in the story that way. So really, it's a way to get the story out to as many people as possible within a certain kind of production. And while she's doing this stuff, I'm off to make the next thing. It's kind of how it works. And I won't be doing, crazy 40 extra stretch goal print Kickstarters or nothing. So this is like as I finish up power prints and things like that, and I start to lock in and replace that development time with the comics, then you're also converting my comic into a visual novel that I'm more directing, right? Which you feel fairly comfortable doing now after trying a little bit of everything, or you still freaking out again? Yeah.
No, I'm a lot more relaxed and excited.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I think you had a question. You were showing me Unity, and you're like, "How come we haven't been doing this in like Unity?" And I'm like, "Do you really want to learn like on top of Maya and Instancy and all these Maya model things, and just learning how to like right now a lot of these buildings and stuff that you've been doing? I mean, we should stress to people like I'm just giving you some reference sketches or." Snaps from Dofus film and saying, I kind of like this, but don't steal the building. You know what I mean? Let's kind of go here and I'll sketch stuff out. And then you're taking my sketches and then extracting models from those sketches because there's no time for me to go through and do really detailed pieces for everything. and to get
Right.
you to the, and you've never done that before, right? Did you ever do that AI? Did you take people's loose sketches and develop?
No.
No. So, should have. But so this is where like this is where teaching you to understand the weights of the feeling of all the things that I want from shapes so that at this point it's just tweaks. It's not like I have to go, everything sucks, we got to start over. So, um, yeah, I'm fairly confident that this flow will work. And I only share this all now, folks, because it I, it's I have nothing else to talk about. Cool part about the visual novel is I have ideas that can only be done there that can't be done in a webcomic. So it's not, there's some cool stuff. So anyway, all right, that's all I got with you. Anything else you want to add? You want to let people know they can follow you? Anything?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, we got your link information below. So you're pretty good. Is Brandon around? Can he jump on this thing? Is he busy?
I don't
No?
know where he's at.
He's out there. He's got that gimp arm. He's out in the haboob. He's stuck outside. He's being blown away. Well, don't stress. I'm going to go talk and then let him know we're going to be out for a power prints thing here. He knows in the next 30 minutes. All right. That's all I got
Okay.
with you. I'm going to talk on my own then.
All right. Thanks.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. So, sorry. I thought I had that up. What else have I been doing? A few things. So we have the game magazine. So how this is going to work is, right now I'm actively finishing up the game magazine portion of the Kickstarter. There's a few pages for comic book stuff, which is really about the history of Game Cave in that book. Then I will ship that book to the backers. And then I will be free to go do Game Cave as a regular story that has a couple examples of the magazine. It's not going to be a big magazine with a comic in it. It's going to be a big like graphic novel with 4 games, one game representing each era. And I'm only going to, so it's going to get inversed. In order to make that all happen, a couple things occurred in the last couple months. So one, I became art director for Megavisions magazine. Here you go. Here's an actual printed copy, 8.5 by 11 preview issue that we did for E3. I'm art directing, and by art directing meaning that I'm making the visual magazine, all the graphic design plus the cover art and the look of it. So utilizing the look that I wanted to do for Game Cave, minus the fictional characters. Now, when I got this copy, matter of fact, if you guys want to see, let me open this up. This is their, wait a second. This is their Patreon at patreon.com/megavisions. So there's an actual sample you can download here. So you can kind of see all the pages and the look of it. Remember, it looks all retro and beat up. These are the actual Game Cave textures, and I've dragged in there and everything. And there's me, Sketchcraft. So why is that important? Okay, so one, regardless of what happens with Game Cave, as I'm still working on the magazine for you guys, anything I do at Megavisions, the backers will receive a digital copy of this for free. So this preview, I'll have a link up tonight on the Kickstarter, backers only. And then moving forward with every issue of Megavisions, until I have shipped your physical issue of the magazine, you will get a free digital copy of Megavisions. I worked that out with them. So that's one. Two, this book is large. It's 8.5 by 11. I initially wanted Game Cave to be half of this. I was going to print an 8.5 by 11 book, 96 pages deep. This is 36, so imagine 3 of these stacked up. And what happened is when I first did the Kickstarter, printing something that was half that size was going to cost me more money for some reason. I didn't understand. So it was going to be 8.5 by 11 at double the pages. So 96 times 2 is like 192 pages. Same pages, same paper, but it was going to cost more. Now that price is evened out. People figured out, hey, it's the same fucking amount of paper. Just add a cut. So I had to go back because I really like, folks, all I do is buy, these days, all I do is buy manga. I like to read shit like this. Easily, can take it with me, go wherever I want. So, Game Cave, and look how thick this is. Delicious in Dungeon. I think it's like 100. It says 192 pages, actually. This is how thick Game Cave is going to be. 192 pages. It's going to be about this size. I think minus a quarter inch. It's going to be a little taller, a little less wide. This is my initial. I got this working. I can show you. This is the template I got working. Resized the whole thing and dragged it into InDesign. And so I got the novel part working, and you can see how the graphics working with this. And then I rebuilt it once InDesign catches up. Now, it never fails. InDesign always likes to get hung up. Let's see if it did. There you go. Thank you. So I had to go and remake the dialog box templates to fit 5.5 by 8.5, and then I had to go and size all the text and resize and print it out and make it all fit. But it works. It works really well, actually. This is exactly what I was trying to make 4 years ago, but like I said, it cost too much, and Josh kind of talked me out of it a little bit, but I'm not going to blame him. Can't blame him for everything. So, but I already got this set up and working. You can see it'll be called Game Cave 0-0. Welcome to the Game Cave universe. And this is all I did was take some old. These are old roughies I did when I was first visually concepting out Game Cave. Each one of these took like 40 minutes to do. It's like 6 years ago. So you could see like this will work really nice, even if I did not a damn thing. In terms of cleaning that up, it'll print really nicely and look really good. So I can do little panels and comic panels and establishment shots. And you can see here's all the retro textures. Let me turn them off. So let's turn the page texture off. So this is the digital roughies as they exist. And then when you turn the texturing on, whoosh, nice, right? This cool retro texture stuff going on there. And I know it prints nice because I use the exact same fucking textures on Megavisions, and it looks wonderful. One of the best parts about this used book look, folks, is when this ships in the mail, if it gets a little dinged up, and sometimes it happens, you're never going to fucking know. It just looks like it's part of the book. So it's really great. So it's actually what I was trying to make Game Fan be back in 2010, but Dave didn't think you could ship an old-looking book. So and this was actual development work I did for Game Cave initially. So you can see it's all going to work really nicely. So the next step, now that I got this all working, I've printed this out 100 times, folks. So I've printed it out, I've lined it up. What I did was, I won't even lie, is my favorite manga in the world is Nausicaa. Hold on, so my favorite manga in the world is Nausicaa. And right now, my favorite light novel is either Sword Art, the remaster, or Konosuba. I'm reading Konosuba, which I really enjoy. So what I did is I printed them out and made a blend between the visual novel sizing and the fonts, and the sizing of the panels and the fonts on Nausicaa. So that gave me this. Is it that? No, it's not that. Where'd it go? I don't know. I have my printouts are somewhere around here. But between those two, merging these two formats, I got this. This took all of last week, but it all works out super nice. And I got a black and white version, so I can make a Kindle version of this thing. And it works great. So, yeah. Because I have a Kindle now, too, and I want to make certain all that shit works out really nicely. What's this stuff? Oh, these are Megavision templates. I'm turning all the old Megavision stuff I did into editable templates right now. So, one guy doing this, folks. This was actually way fucking harder to set up than it looks. Now, all the reviews are written for Game Cave. My buddy Trey went out there and did the base writing for the reviews. He gave me 900 words. I will convert them in about 1,500 words. All those reviews will be the 2 characters talking. Let me come back to this. How it's going to look is each game is going to be 12 pages, but it's an intro section and 1 page is dialogue, the other page is graphics, so forth and so forth. Sometimes the graphics are all on 1 page, sometimes they're going to be in the center, sometimes they're going to be on the sides. They're going to be the exact same layouts I've been showing you before, just brought down to this size. And then the page count has increased because initially there were 6 pages, but this is the same content in half the book, so from 6 to 12 pages is how it gets worked out. So yeah, actually works out pretty nicely. And you'll be able to take it anywhere and read it, and it's handheld, and it's exactly pocket. See, folks, one of the things that was my favorite thing in the world was when the movie The Wizard came out in the 80s. That was Fred Savage, and that was where they had the Power Glove. And at the end, they went to Universal Studios and they played Super Mario Brothers 3 in a big Nintendo Championships game. To promote that, they did a version of Nintendo Power called Pocket Power. It was a small handheld version of Nintendo Power. And that was my favorite thing because it was small. I could take it with me to school. And so I always loved that sizing. That's before I even knew about manga and shit. So Game Cave, my love of game magazines, although I had Nintendo Power before that, that Pocket Cave was my favorite. I'd always wished they'd made more Pocket Caves. So Cave, Pocket Power, sorry, Pocket Cave. So it's the mind going at me. So what's next? Next is to get this video up on the Game Cave Kickstarter. I'll put up the link so you guys can download the digital copy of the summer preview issue for Megavisions. I'm making Megavisions issue 7 while finishing up the final reviews for Game Cave, and on the weekends right now I'm doing the graphic design for Game Cave. So what I'm going to do is, previously I already had that TMNT going. Thanks, Brandon. Hey, Brandon. I'm wrapping this up, but we're live, so you ran.
Okay.
Just hang out there. So, lastly, so I had those TMNT reviews going on. That content's still going to be there. Those elements are going to be there, but I have to pull them apart and fit them per page. So if there was like 2 sections on a page, each section would be 1 page worth of content, is what I'm trying to say. And then the design of it, where I had like that cave and the gold and stuff that was on that TMNT layout, like rather than doing 3 different styles of things, it's just going to be that one style that I'll recolor and then add in new graphics and characters per review. So sounds a little weird, but it won't be. My goal is just to get that moving. So that all gets done. Brandon, I know you just came on. Is there anything you want to add about Game Cave? Anything? I've shown you everything, so he knows the whole story.
Yeah, there's a lot. If anybody thinks there's not a lot, there's definitely a lot. So if everyone's like, oh, there's not much going on, it's like there's so much stuff that everybody hasn't seen that's like behind the scenes development, writing, 3D, everything. It's a lot. It's a lot to process. Just looking at it.
But what is happening is I'm slowly turning that into the primary thing. So it's getting all these things together, consistently working on it on the weekends and a couple hours a day. Now I am doing Megavisions as an art direction thing, but that's only because I don't plan on making Game Cave magazine stuff very much at all. Maybe 4 layouts a year. You know what I mean? Or every other year. I mean, I only plan on, so if I can get 2 graphic novels done every 18 months, or basically every 8 months, 8 or 9 months, graphic novel every 8 or 9 months, it's Game Cave, a new story. Game Cave, a new story. When that starts, I kind of still wanted to make my money back on knowing how to make a game magazine, and hence Megavision. So I can take all the stuff that I've been doing at Game Cave and then go build a real game magazine for those people who wish to have it, and everything else. So, but that being said, folks, it's just because I have to also earn a living, So better to earn a living doing what you already know than something you don't. Yeah, that's it, folks. If I seem a little like It's because I'm a little. It's a lot of stuff. How it works is this: I get up around 7:30 a.m., 8 o'clock, clean my kitchen, start working on Megavisions. When I don't have Megavisions, I work on Game Cave from 9 to 11. From 11 to 1, I then do commissions, which is what I've been streaming. When there aren't commissions, then that's freelance work too, so it kind of fluctuates. And then from 1 to 5:30, I'm working on freelance. And then from 8 to 10, freelance. And then from 10 to midnight, power prints. And that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesdays and Thursdays at night, I'm writing Game Cave. I leave the house, go down to the hotel and write. And on Sundays, I'm working on Game Cave graphic design. So right now, all of my work has been getting the 8.5 by 11 templates put down to 5.25 by 8.5, and then making sure everything works. Like it all actually works. So that's it. That's it. Oh, man. Oh, Brennan, you also put up an extra development blog on the YouTube channel, right?
That I did. It's a 5-minute video.
Yeah, I had to retitle it texturing. I covered some of the texturing.
Gotcha.
A little bit more in depth for about 5 minutes. So check out that devlog there. That's it, Brennan. That's 46 minutes I've been talking about Game Cave. When will I be back? I'm going to do these probably, like I said, once a month, unless something major comes up. What I will be doing, though, with the Game Cave is I'll be making these 5-minute videos. We'll be doing more of those. So if you're following on the development blog on the YouTube channel, then Brandon will be putting those up as well in between. So I probably will have one of those up as soon as I get the TMNT thing like flowing through. Like,
right.
It's annoying, but it actually makes it easier. It means I only have to make one game magazine layout. So, because the thing to remember, folks, is I'm only going to be doing one game per section in the future. So there's no sense in coming up with 3 different styles of game magazine per section. Just one style of magazine per section. And then, so, yeah. But it's all going to look great. I can assure you that, because I fucking won't allow it to look stupid. It's going to look good. It just makes life easier on my end and gets this thing done sooner than later. If you're wondering when will it be done, I don't know, folks. So, it's like not the most important thing to me right now. The most important thing is knowing, how do I say this? You got to build the box in which you want to put the present in. And this box is the same box I'm going to be using for everything I do moving forward. So I never felt comfortable with 8.5 by 11. Brandon, you know this. I didn't talk about it on the stream.
Right.
How long have I been complaining about that?
Years.
Because there's a lot of empty space, and if you wait a year to get something, or if in the future if I'm making a Kickstarter where it's done, I want you to be able to feel like you got something of substantial weight, like it feels like a lot. But 2, if I go to a store, it's way easier to sell. How do I say this? It's way easier to sell the owner of a comic book shop on a digest size book than an 8.5 by 11 book. Does that make sense, Brandon? Because in comic book shops or shops anywhere, bookstores, wherever, they space is like the most important thing. So that's it. That's it, folks. I'm out of here. We're going to be back on in a little bit to go over power prints. Brandon will join me for that. So
yay!
That's it for this month, folks. Talk to you all later. Game Cave. Peace out. Say goodbye, Brandon.
Goodbye.